This is fine. I just thought I'd film like myself getting ready and talking about like what life has been recently for me. Today, for whatever reason, I chose to wear foundation, which I never do, so don't know what that's about. My roommate is in the other room, and I'm really self-conscious because I have not filmed anything since I've lived here. Which, speaking of that, sorry, it's been like 2 months, almost 3, since I filmed anything. Okay, yeah, I think it's been 3 months. I think it was late July, so that's really good. So basically, I wanted to tell you guys, because I never really did, kind of like what happened to my life. When I say California was life-changing, I mean that quite literally, because when I was there, I had no clue what I was going to do with my life, and now, it was a very stressful couple months. Like, I don't even like thinking about it. I was like, kind of knew I wasn't supposed to go back to Georgia, but I didn't really understand why. I just like have this feeling that I wasn't supposed to go back to Georgia, which I think was Holy Spirit just being like,
hey, that's not it.
Which I didn't get, because I was like, okay, I'm in the middle of school. What's going on here? I kind of wanted to do, and I really thought about doing, Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry. So I really wanted to do that, and I know that that has always been a goal for me. When I was in high school, I don't think I was brave enough to tell my parents and even admit to myself that that's what I wanted to do. Like, I can't be like, I'm gonna go move to California and not even get like real college credit, you know? I've always adored Bethel. I've always just been in love with that place. And when I went to California in July, I discovered truly that my heart was there. Like, that's where I really felt like I'm eventually supposed to be. To be honest, the main reason I haven't filmed is because first, that after my California travel vlogs, life was just very stressful. Because like I said, it was like late July. I think I had to decide really quickly what I was going to do for school. And like I said, I was very strongly considering, aside from any counsel that I received, going to Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry and not doing college. It's very, very hard because that's where my heart is at in California, at Redding. Like, that's where I know my heart is. It just feels like, you know, I've never been to a place where I visited and immediately fell in love with the whole city, not just the church, literally the entire city. And I think it's because that's where my heart was and that's where I was supposed to be. It's really hard for me not to be there. Where's this video going? We don't know. After a long time of thinking about it, the deal is, if I do want to move to California, that's no joke, and I have to be in a financial situation where I can do that. And so I knew if I moved back to Georgia, that'd be really hard for me to do, to save money to go, because when you're on campus at the church and at the school, you really have to be all in. And you can't work full time. Like, that is just not a thing. And if you do, you get burnout. And it's not good for anyone. Which is why I think God was like kind of helping me feel like I could release from Georgia. Which was hard because that was a really fun year of my life. But I was not financially okay at all the whole time I was there. I just wasn't. The more I prayed about it, I was just confused. I was like, so if I'm not going to Georgia, where am I supposed to go? And he actually confirmed that at some point I am supposed to go to California, which that can be its own video talking about all those confirmations. But he did. He confirmed it in a lot of ways. And I feel like if I had decided to go there, or I decided to go to Georgia, I think like whatever I did, he would have honored that. But let me backtrack a little bit. One of my very good friends had told me like a month before that she was looking for another roommate. I had worked with her and we had clicked, but it wasn't like I felt like it was ordained by God that I moved there. You know what I mean? I was like, okay. And I didn't think about moving there at all. I thought if I lived at home, I would live with my parents. Anyway, the smartest thing for me to do would be to work, because I knew I was going to have a solid job when I came home, because they told me I was working at this daycare, and the lady who ran it told me, she's like, if you stay home, you have a job. So I was like, oh. And I prayed about it, and I just like felt like I felt a lot of peace about staying home. I didn't feel any peace about going to Georgia. I didn't feel a lot of peace about going to BSSM yet. I think eventually that's where I'm supposed to be. But I didn't feel any peace about it yet. Like I said, I felt a lot of peace about staying home. I felt a lot of peace, like, spiritually, but I didn't feel a lot of peace about it, like, in my mind. I was like, okay, well, am I backtracking if I stay home? So I did ultimately make the decision to stay at home. I did decide that within 2 weeks, I made the decision not only was I going to stay home, I enrolled in online college, so I'm online right now. So I could at least finish my associates. Kind of thinking about going ahead for my bachelor's. I'm not sure. It just depends on life. I also decided, just for the sake of my parents' relationship, I'm 21. I don't need to live at home, you know? And I hadn't lived at home for a year. And anyone who's my age and is living at home, or even like 18 or over and is living, it is very hard to live at home. Because you're independent, especially if you've already lived away from home. And I knew that. And I was like, okay. So I ended up moving in and deciding in 2 weeks that I was going to move in, and then I moved in 2 weeks to this house. I make enough money now that I can pay my rent, pay to survive, and save. What I'm saving money for is so that I can go to California. I kind of want to go next year. That's kind of the plan right now. When I moved here, I felt peace about it, but like I said, it was spiritual. It wasn't like mental. I didn't mentally have peace about it because my parents were disappointed. They thought that I should be at college, and it's really hard for me knowing my parents were disappointed in my decision, which is fine. I get it. Like, they felt like I should be doing college if I'm going to be in college, right? I mean, it makes sense. It just felt like the right thing. So, fast forward. I lived here for like a week, I think, maybe 2 weeks. And I get called and offered a job within the same school district, the same school system that I work for. It's like one school has a daycare. I just got makeup all up in my eye. That's great. A daycare, a high school, middle school, and an elementary school. Like, they have all of it. So it's like a networking of schools, right? But it's all one school. That makes sense. So, anyway, I get a call from the main campus, or one of the campuses, and they're like, hey, we need an educational assistant in this classroom, this first grade classroom. Would you be interested? So I get offered that job. I get interviewed and offered the job in the same day, and I start working the next week. And it was a $1.50 pay raise. And I really felt like it was God just being like, you're in the right place. Like, chill out. You're fine. You're in the right place. So I'm there for like a month, right? Gets offered another pay raise. So now I'm working at our main campus of the school. And I'm getting paid $2.50 more than I was. And it's just amazing. I really feel like it was just God confirming, which I needed. I needed confirmation, and I needed to be okay financially to do this, to save any money for this. Working full-time, so I'm tired. But I'm working full-time, I'm a student full-time, and that's life right now. And that's kind of boring, and I'm aware of that. And that's kind of why I haven't been filming. But life is going to get real exciting soon. I'm going to film when I travel. I'm going to film when I do fun things, but I'm not going to film like everyday life, because everyday life here is me going to work and then days like this. Like, I'm adulting really hard right now. YouTube is not my source of revenue at all. I don't make any money. So it's a fun thing for me. That's what it's always been. That's kind of like a little life update, I guess. So that's my life right now. It's looking very different than I thought it would be, but it's in a good way, I think. I'm in a season of rest. It's like preparing while I'm resting kind of deal. Like, I'm not really doing ministry right now, which is so weird for me, but it's fine. And I'm a full-time student and I'm working a lot. But, yeah. Besides that, I also, oh, look at this. This is cool. I got a tattoo. I'm obsessed with it. Isn't it beautiful? But I am completely obsessed with it and I love it. And it's really pretty. That's like a really short version, honestly, of like my life right now, because it was crazy. But I'm glad that season is over of waiting and trying to figure it out. And that was very stressful. I would say for anybody who's in a similar situation that I was, where like you're being pulled like a million different directions, being told a ton of different things that you should do. Your heart's telling you one thing, everyone else is telling you something different, even if it's your parents. Just like learn Holy Spirit's voice, learn God's voice, learn how to decipher that from the other ones, and learn how to honor that over the other ones. And honestly, kind of honor yourself too. Like, I didn't want to go back to Georgia. I didn't. And I didn't want to go to, my parents wanted me to go to Columbus. I didn't feel like it was the right step for me. They felt very strongly that it was. And I'm not saying ignore that. I'm saying take that into account and then pray about it and know what you want. Like, there's nothing wrong with you wanting something that your parents don't want. That was really hard for me. I'm a people pleaser, and I'm definitely, I want to please my parents. I want my parents not to be disappointed in my decision. I want them to support everything I do. And I'm learning as I get older, they're not always going to agree with everything. And that's totally okay. They're still there for me. They're still supporting me. It's just an odd season that I'm in, and it's fine. I didn't see myself here. I definitely saw myself doing something different, but I'm very glad that this is what I'm doing. So anyway, that's my little life update. My makeup's done, so that's good. I'm going to go finish getting ready and go meet Perry, and then I'm going to edit this video later and do homework because I have homework due tonight. I'm not gonna like promise another video anytime soon. I'm just gonna say when something exciting happens or when I have an idea, I'll film it. But life is not exciting right now, and it's very, very busy. But I know there's only like, I only have like 70 subscribers and like 3 people are gonna watch this, but I kind of like, YouTube for me has also been a lot of like my journey, like being able to look back on it. And so like I want this to look back on and like remember this season of my life. And I feel like YouTube's a really cool way to do that and share your life with people who might be able to learn something from it. But I hope you guys have an excellent, wonderful day. I'm gonna go get dressed and go to Perry's house, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.